The forbidden power of the anting for generations. The anting has been part of Filipino spiritual life, a sacred charm worn close to the body, believed to protect against harm, evil spirits, illness, and bad luck. Some say it holds the power of saints. Others believe it channels the force of ancient spirits, the hilots, who once walked the islands before colonization. But when Spanish missionaries arrived, many of these powerful charms were declared dangerous. The church called them pagan. They burned them, banned them, and warned people never to use them again. Priests feared what they couldn't understand, especially when miracles began to happen to those who wore them. There is one anting. In particular, that was feared the most. It was carved with a symbol, an ancient spiral, I believed, to bring divine protection and unlock spiritual sight. This amulet didn't just protect people from curses, it helped them hear God more clearly. In dreams, in whispers and signs, this amulet was hidden for decades until now. Today you're about to rediscover what the church tried to erase. The secret symbol hidden in plain sight, the spiral eye, is not found in any Bible or prayer book yet. Many Filipinos recognize it without knowing why. It's said to represent the eye of the noon sun, the moment when light is strongest and darkness cannot hide. It is the symbol used by ancient hilots and spiritual warriors to invoke divine truth. This sacred symbol was carved into stones passed down on pendants and hidden inside statues of the Santo Niño. When Spanish friars discovered it, they were terrified. Why? Because it worked. People who wore this symbol experienced strange events, dreams with angels, protection from sudden accidents, even financial breakthroughs. There are stories of bullets stopping midair, of sick children healing overnight. One priest in Batangas reportedly buried dozens of these charms under the church altar to seal their power. But some believe their energy still rises from the ground at night. If you see this symbol, it's not by chance. It's a calling. How to activate its power? The anting and tang is not just jewelry. It's a vessel. And like any sacred object, it must be activated with faith and ritual. The most powerful time to do this is during noon, exactly 12 p.m., when the sun is strongest. Divine light, awaken within me. Protect my path. Bless my soul. Amen. You may feel warmth, tingling, or calmness. Some people report vivid dreams the same night. Others notice sudden moments of clarity or coincidences that lead to unexpected blessings. Important: never use the anting with bad intentions. If used for greed, revenge, or deception, its energy may backfire. This is a sacred tool. Not a toy, always wear it near your heart. Remember, faith is the true activator. True stories: the church ignored in Iloilo. A farmer named Mang Resti was attacked by thieves. But when they saw the amulet around his neck, the spiral symbol glowing faintly in the moonlight, they dropped their weapons and ran. He said he didn't even speak. Something in the air had changed. In Quezon, a young mother found an old pendant in her grandmother's belongings. That same week, her sick child, who doctors had given up on, began to recover. The mother said she dreamed of a lady in white whispering, "Keep it close. It is your protection." In Davao, a construction worker survived a collapse that crushed everyone else around him. His only injury, a scratch. He believed the anting in his pocket had saved him. These stories were never shared in the news. Priests called them superstition. But among the Matatanda, the wise elders, the truth is known. This amulet still works for those who believe. Are you ready to receive it? If you're watching this, it's not an accident. The anting chooses its bearer through dreams, signs, and moments of spiritual hunger. Maybe you've felt lost lately. Maybe you've prayed for protection or guidance. Maybe this is your answer. You don't need to find an old relic to connect to this power. You can draw the spiral symbol on a small piece of cloth or wood. You can speak the prayer. You can wear it near your heart and begin to walk in faith. Some people create their own anting by placing the symbol behind holy images, the Virgin Mary, the Sto, Nino, or even inside their wallets. What matters most is your intention. The church may have feared this amulet, but the spirit fears nothing. It moves where it is welcomed, and if your heart is ready, the spirit of the mountains, in the remote mountains of Luzon, there are families who still whisper the names of spirits, the anitos, before sunrise. They offer food and candles, praying not to saints, but to the guardians of the land. These are not enemies of faith. In fact, many of them go to Mass, pray the rosary, and wear scapulars. But they know something the modern world has forgotten. The Spirit of God moves through nature, not just through churches. One elder named Lola Menong says she saw her grandmother draw a spiral symbol on banana leaves during storms. It was not magic, she says, but prayer made visible. When typhoons came, their home was never harmed, while others fled to shelters. Their nipa hut stood strong. They believed the anting was part of the land's memory passed from ancestors, blessed by the Creator, and misunderstood by colonizers. These amulets were born not in rebellion against God, but in communion with His creation. Today the mountains are quieter, but when lightning strikes near old trees, some say it's the spirits reminding us, we're still here, the hidden chapel. Under the sea, in a coastal village in Bahal, fishermen speak of an underwater chapel, a place only visible during certain moons. According to legend, a man with a glowing cross on his chest dove there once, guided by a dream. What he found was not gold or treasure, but a carved stone with the spiral symbol and an old inscription in Babayan, Angliwanag, a Hindi Nachutulug. The light never sleeps. They say he brought it to the parish priest who refused to touch it. The man hid it under his home, and his fishing nets were always full, never lost a child to the sea. Even during the tsunami scare, his family survived on high ground, warned by a strange bird singing at midnight. To this day, divers claim to see glimmers near that reef. Some say it's coral, others know better. The anting of the sea still protects those who honor it with respect and clean heart. Not all treasures shine, some whisper. The hilot who healed with fire in the province of Antique, there lived a hilot named Mang Dioso. He didn't use herbs or oil like others. He used fire and prayer. On his chest was a burnt pattern, like the spiral symbol. When asked, he said, "It came in a dream where the archangel Raphael appeared and pressed it onto his skin. People brought the sick, possessed, the dying. He never asked for money, only faith." He would light a small flame, chant ancient prayers, and press his hands onto the patient's forehead. Many walked away healed. Others left crying, not knowing why, but lighter. The bishop once sent someone to investigate. He said it was a gift of healing, but not from any official Catholic ritual. They quietly asked him to stop. He smiled and said, "Then let the Lord Himself tell me to stop." He died peacefully in 1997. But some say the flame in his hut still flickers when prayers are spoken with real faith. His anting was never found. Why some amulets fail? Not all antings work. That's what many have learned. Some wear them as fashion, as others buy them in markets without knowing the ritual or prayer behind them. But true power doesn't come from the object alone. It comes from alignment between your spirit, your intention, and the blessing of the divine. If your heart is full of envy, bitterness, or pride, the amulet stays silent. If you carry it to dominate, to curse, or to impress, its spirit will leave. But if you approach it with humility, as a protector, a friend, a sacred tool, then it responds. Miracles happen not from the charm, but from the connection it reawakens. Remember, even the most powerful rosary means nothing if prayed without heart. And so with the anting. Faith must walk with discipline. Tension must walk with purity. Power must walk with love. This is why the church feared it, because it works outside of titles and uniforms. The calling of the spiral is not just a symbol, it is a path. It leads inward, like prayer. It leads upward, like faith. It begins in silence and ends in revelation. In ancient Filipino tradition, the spiral represented the unfolding of the soul, a journey toward inner truth, guided by light. The anting that bears this symbol is not a superstition. It's a sacred invitation. Some people say they've started dreaming more after drawing it under their pillow. Others have seen strangers offer them kindness for no reason. One young woman said she found peace for the first time after tracing the spiral into the sand during prayer. This is your reminder. God speaks through silence, through signs, and through symbols. He speaks through mountains, water, fire, and yes, even old amulets. If the spiral calls to you, don't ignore it. You are being invited to return, not just to a forgotten tradition, but to your own divine path.